From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Well, greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Badass Counseling Show. It's great to have you here. I'm Sven Erlandson, the host of the Badass Counseling Show. And we love having you here with us wherever you are tuning in from, whether it is New Brunswick on one end of Canada, or Edmonton, or even hop skip a little bit further way over to British Columbia. There it is, way over on the other edge of Canada. It's great to have you here. We love our Canadian friends on this show. We have had so many Canadians call into the show and following the show. Ontario, Winnipeg, and of course, Banff, Lake Louise, that gorgeous area. That is one beautiful country, people. If you have never explored the Canadian provinces, you must. Toronto being one of the coolest cities. I had never been to Toronto before. Montreal numerous times, of course, being in the New York City area, but Toronto was a treat for me. So to all of our friends up in Canada, welcome, and around the world. Thank you so much for listening to the Badass Counseling Show. I am joined in studio by my team, KC over in the booth, who actually has connections. One of her children is a multinational, is a half Canadian citizen. Her ex-husband is Quebecois. And I think that's what they say, Rob. They actually call the people Quebecois. And they're, well, no. That's the distinction I was going to draw.
Quas?
The quas with the E on the end refers to the people, but the Quebecois is the nationality.
That makes sense.
One of them has an E and one doesn't have the E on the end. Or one is the language, it's something. But those darn Frenchy, Canadian-y people, I can never keep it straight.
Well, I dated a Canadian, and I said to her, you seem familiar, yet somehow strange. Are you, by any chance, Canadian?
Ouch. Gosh.
But that difference is like you all versus y'all.
There is a difference.
But one of them's singular, one of them's plural.
There it is. So there is a difference. So as I was saying, I'm joined in studio by my team, KC over in the booth, and Rob the Rocket sitting next to me. Rob, any other thoughts other than Canadian such ones? And by the way, I'm sure she was a lovely woman.
Absolutely. And I'm at otherwise a loss for words, which is okay because as the saying goes, brevity is the soul of wit, and I'm just full of wit.
Yes, you are full of something. Tell us, Rob, if you would, about Sunny.
By all means, Sven, I'd be happy to. Sunny wrote in and said, at 52 and a single parent of two beautiful daughters, I've never understood why I have no relationship with my mother. She's not had it easy. My father was killed in an accident when my brother was 3, and she was pregnant with me at the time. I believe my mother is autistic, but she believes no such thing. I found that I have ADHD. My youngest daughter has scoliosis, HDs, EDs, and inattentive ADD. All 4 are linked. We are blessed with so many beautiful, kind friends. My stepfather told me when I was 7 or 8 years old that he loved me how he should love my mother, described how he lost his virginity at age 13 to an older woman, and told me never to tell anyone. He strolled around the house naked, vile. I'm too much, too loud, don't dress appropriately, my house is a mess, I know I'm a good person, a kind person. I'm a total people pleaser. My entire life, though, is a chaotic disaster. My mother asks my daughters to keep secrets, criticizes me when I'm not there, puts me down in front of them, yet I won't go no contact, as she would then control the narrative that I'm a terrible person. Why am I emotionless to my feelings, but am running to my friends for the smallest hiccup in their lives, but can't sort out my own shit?
Sunny, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute privilege.
Privilege is ours. I appreciate your coming on and sharing your story. We're going to sort of go rat-a-tat-tat from the top. I've got about 7 questions I'm going to go sort of rapid fire on. Mm-hmm. The first one is, you say, I've never understood why I have no relationship with my mother. In one sentence or less, why do you have no relationship with your mother?
I don't know.
Nope. Give me a shot. Take a shot at it, knowing you could change your mind. 5 minutes from now, if you say to me, Sven, I've thought about it and it's actually this, you can change your mind. 5 hours from now, you want to call up the show, my producer, and say, tell Sven to go fuck himself. I've changed my mind. The answer is actually this. What would you speculate the answer is as to why you have no relationship with your mother?
I'm not who I'm wanted to be, I guess.
I'm not who I want to be. I'm
No, I'm
wanted.
not
Right.
who I'm wanted
Right.
to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not who I'm
Don't worry.
wanted to be. And that's sort of that Easy song by the Commodores. Everybody wants me to be who they want me to be. Um, right. A little Lionel Richie working that in. Okay. So I'm not who I'm wanted to be. Second question. So you tell me, I've never understood why I have no relationship with my mother. And then your next sentence is, she's not had it easy. My father was killed in an accident when my brother was 3, etc., etc. It's just fascinating that you say at 52, as a single parent of 2 beautiful daughters, I've never understood why I have no relationship with my mother. And then your very first comment after that is not a comment to tell me about what's hard in your life. It's not a statement defending yourself. Or saying, telling me the bad things your mom has done to you. It is, in fact, a statement defending your mom. Why do you think it is that your instant reflex, after telling me that you have no relationship with your mom, your instant reflex is to tell me a statement defending her? Oh, she's never had it easy, though. And dad died. And gosh, she had 2 kids on her hands. And why do you think you could have gone the other direction? You could have said, and, as a result of, us never having a relationship, I felt isolated and I feel like she didn't do her fucking job and I felt alone and sad my whole fucking life. You didn't go into that. Nope. Instantly you went into defending her. And I want to know, in one sentence or less, why do you think it is your default to defend your mom?
She hasn't had it easy. I'm not saying that makes things right.
But that doesn't answer the question. The question was, why do you think it is your default to defend your mom? I'm not disputing that she has or hasn't had it. I'm just saying it's interesting.
I think as a human, that is my natural instinct reaction.
So you believe okay, as a human, it's my natural. So you're saying you believe you were born with that instinct. What's fascinating is when you were a child, when you would fall down and skin your knees, I guarantee your very first thought was not, I wonder if that other person over there is hurting. No, you fall down, you skin your knees, you start crying because it hurts me. In this situation, though, at 52-year-olds, as a single parent of 2 beautiful daughters, I've never understood why I have no relationship with my mother. She's not had it easy, To say it's natural and so forth is different from perhaps saying I've been conditioned to worry about her, to take care of her, which is precisely how you sort of end your write-up later. You say, why am I emotionless to my feelings, but I'm running to my friends for the smallest hiccup in their lives? In other words, I'm taking care of everyone else. And you open your paragraph by saying how, defending mom, taking care of mom. And you end by saying how you take care of everyone else. I don't think it's necessarily your natural reflex. Sure, we take care of other people when they're hurting. Yes, I'm not disputing that's a piece of it. But you just got done telling me you have no relationship with this person, and your first words out of your mouth are to say how bad she's had it, yet at nowhere in here do you say how bad you've had it, per se. You talk about your weird, sick, fucked up stepdad, but you talk about how bad, you tell us all the things that are wrong with you. Oh, I'm too loud, I'm too much, I don't dress right. But you don't tell us how bad you've had it. But you sure made a point of the very fucking first words out of your mouth to tell us how bad your mom had it. You got to admit it's interesting.
It's very, very interesting. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
I just want to understand.
Understood. But why do you think it is that your reflex is to defend your mom when you're saying we have had no relationship? 2 people have had no relationship. And your reflex is to instantly go to defending her and not defending yourself. In one sentence or less, why do you think that is? You can say anything you want.
I guess curious. Because when you've been told, after all I've done for you, etc. I suppose that's what I know. It's what I know.
And after all I've done for you, etc., when you've been told that all along, it's all I know. What is all you know? Sum it up then. How does that relate to this idea of she's not had it easy and defending her?
You got me.
No, I'm asking you to use that big brain of yours. Come on. How does that relate to this? How would being told, after all I've done for you and shit like that, how would that cause you now at 52 to just always be defending her, always like you always have. How are those two things related?
I guess if you're told something enough, you kind of that's how it is. I don't
Hmm.
you don't know different. You're a battery hen,
And the
I
main
guess.
and so the main message you got then regarding, your job is what?
I'm not there enough. I don't go around there enough. I don't get involved enough. I don't
Oh,
spend enough time.
okay. So then if you're not around enough, if you're not going there enough, if you're not spending enough time, that
Mm.
implies then that your job is to spend time with her, to go around to her, to check on her more. That's your job. If you're not doing it enough, that says you're not doing it enough. Here's
Mm.
your job. By the way, you're not doing your job. You need to do it better, right? But your job is to check on her. Your job is to make your life about her. Would that be accurate or inaccurate?
Yeah, I think there's something in there, definitely. Yeah, but I don't.
Right. But you don't. No, no, I'm not disputing that. I believe you. You say you don't. Bad, bad, bad.
I
But,
do probably more than I should,
okay,
but not enough.
for her. Right. And just out of curiosity, what's the reason you don't do as much as she wants you to do? What's the reason you.
I've started to back off because whatever you do is not good enough. You get asked why you don't go when you walk through the door. Why dress like that? You've ruined your hair. Um, you know,
When did you
can you be
start?
quiet?
What age were you when you started getting sick of why you dress like that? Oh my God, look at your hair. And those messages of you're not
Yeah,
good enough. What age were you when you started just getting sick of that and started pulling away?
probably the last couple of years, like couple of years, yeah. And
Okay.
probably maybe even 10 years since having children and not doing it right and being their best friend and it's not good
Okay,
and
so 10 years. So that would have been roughly 42, let's just
already
say.
say yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So let's say it's 42. Why then? Why not at 35? Why not at 51? Why was it
Why? I
around?
can answer that one because when your children are coming to you or one in particular and saying, um, so and so said not to say, my mother said, don't say this to your mother, but it's amazing that you've turned out so well considering your mother. And just put downs all the time. And it's actually I have a very different relationship with them.
Uh-huh. And so when your
Yeah.
kids start coming around saying stuff
Yeah.
to you,
It's wrong.
okay. So you were getting it from your mom and you were getting her bullshit from your own kids.
I'm being told not to tell them when, bearing in mind what happened with my stepfather, I've always said to them, we don't have secrets. We can do surprises. If any grown up tells you that's a secret, you come to me, you go to your dad, you go to, yeah, a
Mhm.
trusted adult, because that's not okay. So when I've instilled since my children were old enough to get it, we don't have secrets. And I've got my mother saying to them, don't tell your mother, but
Okay.
it's wrong. And they know it's wrong.
Right.
Aged 8
And
and 10,
and
they
it's
know.
not just the fact that they were keeping secrets, it's what they were being taught by her and the things they were then saying to you about you. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. They've come to me and told me, which is what
Understood.
they should do.
Understood. Right, right, right. I'm not disputing that.
Yeah.
What I was trying to understand is what caused you to finally break, to finally begin pulling away from mom. That's what I was getting at. And you said that I had been eating shit from mom for 40 years, but
Yeah.
now I'm eating shit from my kids as well
Yeah.
as a result of her. Right.
Yeah.
So it was just too much and you're like, "Oh, fuck this." And you
Yeah.
started to pull
Yeah.
away. Okay.
Yeah.
So moving forward then. Then you talk about your stepfather. My stepfather told me when I was 7 or 8 years old that he loved me and he loved me how he should love my mother, which is sick. Described how he lost his virginity at age 13 to an older woman and told me never to tell anyone. Did he tell you, which part did he tell you never to tell anyone? How he lost his virginity or that he loved you the way he should love your mother?
I assume it was the whole thing, everything,
Everything.
everything,
Right.
everything inappropriate,
Well,
everything.
yeah, and you can understand why he didn't want you to tell anyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, obviously.
Yes.
And then he strolled around the house naked. Okay, so he was just a fucking beyond perv. That's criminal, right? All of that is just that's some seriously
Yeah.
sick
That's
shit.
a very, very brief synopsis of life
Oh,
as
I'm
a
sure it was. I'm sure. As
yeah.
much as we asked
Yeah.
for a 250 word write up, and that's a
Yeah.
lot for even to that 250 words. Okay,
Yeah.
so we know we've got that going on. I am curious. Did mom know that he was this way around you and saying these things to
I
you?
don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Did your mom know that he strolled around the house naked?
Yes.
I see. And obviously, she never stopped it because you said he strolled around the house naked. So that implies more than once. And if she knew it, she never stopped it. And just out of curiosity,
All the time.
why do you think mom never stopped it?
Scared of being alone again after being widowed so young, maybe?
And so she was scared of being alone again after so long. Um, and so to protect herself from being alone, what do you think your mom most feared about being alone? Was it being financially alone, having to vie for herself financially? Or was it just, gee, I get so sad and lonely when I'm alone? Or
I don't
what would
think it was
people
either of
think?
those things.
What was it?
What will people think?
What will people think? Oh,
Everything is what will people think. Everything.
okay. Everything is what will people think. So then, um, if that's the reason that she did not confront him and stop him from walking around naked around her daughter, who is 5, who is 9, who is now 13, who is now 15, who is now 17, and he's walking around the house naked around a girl, a little girl, a preteen, teen girl, and she's not stopping it because she fears being alone and what will people think. She is fundamentally protecting her ego at the expense of her daughter's sexual and emotional safety. Right?
This is what I love about you. You've picked out something that I knew was wrong from a very young age. I knew wasn't right, especially when you've grown up without an adult father figure living with you. You know that's not right from a very young age. But actually looking at it now, what I hadn't worked out is that's actually probably the worst part about it all. I had just hadn't worked it out. It's the worst part of all of it. The irony, oh, God, you're so good. The irony being the stuff that potentially isn't known. I don't know. The one thing that was known, the one thing that was known, I get it.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder okay, so you put that little caveat in there. We couldn't possibly know, we don't know the whole story, but what could possibly be not known that would justify allowing the man you're with to walk around naked year after year after year after year around your daughter, or around your son, either one, but around your daughter? What the actual fuck, you fucking sick fucking old woman? What the fuck? I don't know. I honestly wish I could have a live tally poll of my listeners. I wish I had them all right now around the world and say, who's the sicker, the man or the wife? And we all want to say the man because we like it when we can just say the men are the pigs, right? But in this case, come on. I mean, really? Really? You are letting your own blood child be exposed to that every day. And the reason, that alone is bad enough. But the reason you're doing it is because you're worried about your own reputation, you worthless fucking cunt. And I can use that word because she's British, and they use that word more than we're allowed to here in our country. With your mother, it's like, are you serious, old woman? Are you fucking serious?
Wow.
Okay, so let me ask you. So, and that's what I think, but let me ask you, from where you sit as the actual daughter, as the one who can weigh in with the actual, let me ask you, I'm going to put as the crime goes, we're going to put the stepdad on one side and the mom on the other side. And what percent of the crime committed against the daughter, when it comes to this fucking man walking around with his schlong hanging out, is John Thomas hanging out day after day in front of a little girl and then a preteen and then a teenage girl? What percent of the crime is held by the stepdad and what percent of the crime is the mother?
I call it accountability, I guess. It's a good 90-10, isn't it?
90% whom?
Mother.
And everybody can answer that question differently, but you are in fact the one of two, because your brother as well, because he's having to endure it as well. So with respect to your brother, you are the one having to endure it. You are the victim of the crime. You are the victim. So there is no person on earth, again, with respect to your brother, with deference to your brother, there's no person on earth who can answer that question in this situation more accurately than you. And you say 90% of the crime was that which was done by my mother, that she fucking allowed this. She did not protect me. Furthermore, that somewhere in the child, because the child is small, is young, is impressionable, and you, if you have two daughters your own, you know how easily children are, how impressionable they are, how easy they are to manipulate, how easily their young minds are formed, that somehow this, even though you knew it wasn't right, somehow this becomes just sort of normalized, even though you know it's not normal.
Yep.
It becomes just part of the fabric of life. It's like, you fucking bitch. Mom, you fucking bitch that you actually allowed this into my psyche as somehow this is my home, and that I don't even know what a fucking normal home is. I'm fucking embarrassed. Were you embarrassed to bring friends over? Maybe you weren't. Did you ever fear that he'd walk around with his scrotum hanging out if you had girlfriends over?
I feared having children that would be girls.
Oh, of course. And you did. And are they still married?
He was, on the day I went into labour, my mum was on the ward opposite. Okay? Big hospital. Wave. He's been diagnosed maybe 2 weeks. Went nearly a year.
With cancer?
Yep.
Okay, so you had your daughters, and
that was my first one. Yeah.
That was your first one. And then he passed away when she was like one or something?
Not even one. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. So he has not been around your daughters then, thank God.
And would not have been. No way.
And has she brought any new men into her life, into the lives of your children?
No.
Thank God for that too, because in a way, he wasn't the problem. She was the problem in allowing it. So in a way, he might have gone away, but who the hell knows what the hell she would have tolerated next.
He had children of his own as well.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to explore more of this story about Sonny right after this short break.
I am one of the lucky few who've had the privilege not only to read his books, but also to experience Sven face-to-face for countless one-on-one sessions. His intelligence, knowledge, and deep empathy have had a deep impact on me and the people I love. And I can say that he is amongst the most important people in my life for the last 10 plus years. I am thankful for you, badass Sven.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform, and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
We are back with Sonny. Sonny, you go on to say in your write-up, I'm still in my rat-a-tat line of questioning, and we're on number 4 that I want to ask you. But before I ask you that, at what age in your life did you really start, if you were to think back, becoming too much, too loud, dressing inappropriately, etc.? When did you really become too much, too loud, etc.?
I think mostly when the control had to be reneged, because at 19 I was like, I've got to get out of this. This isn't right. And unfortunately came into some inheritance, unfortunately. And when I bought a house, I was like, get the hell out of here. And
so you became too much, too loud, and dressing not appropriately around 19?
Yeah, probably it got worse once I had my children, I think. You know, at your age, are you still wearing jeans? You know, blah, 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 blah.
So, and what age were you when you had your children? 42, we said, right? No.
When I had my children, no, 32 and 34. 32
and 34.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And, but but that's when it got worse at 32 and 34. But the age where, because you said in your write-up, the reason I'm asking this is you said, I'm too much, too loud, don't dress appropriately, my house is a mess. And I guess I'm just wondering, when did the too much, too loud and not dressing appropriately and the related things, what age did they start? Did that start for you?
Probably when I was actually like, do you know what? I'm a decent person. I'm a nice person. And I know I am because I've got such a great friendship group around me.
Right.
Long standing.
But
So I
when
think
did that start? When did you start
I
being
think
quote
again,
unquote
I
too
think,
loud and too,
yeah,
you know?
I think it was when I was announced I was going to divorce from the from the children's father. And
So what age was that?
40, 39, 40.
Okay, so prior to 30, prior to 39 or 40,
Yeah.
you were not too much, too loud and dressing inappropriately. You were not that way before.
Constant put downs, constant.
But
you're the loud
you
one,
yourself,
yeah.
hold on. This is
Yeah.
you yourself state in your bio here. I am too much, too loud, and I don't dress appropriately. And I'm just wondering when that started. Has it been that way your
When
whole
I
life?
stopped giving a shit.
When was that though? What age?
I think 40,
40.
around 40, when I
So
knew myself.
prior to that, I gave a
Yeah.
shit. Prior to that, I was not too loud. Prior to that, I was not too much. Is that correct?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right. But what's interesting then is I'm too much, too loud, and don't dress appropriately. You're too much for whom? You're too loud by whose standard? No, I want to know.
By hers. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Who is?
But by whom? You take that,
By her.
that is your self-identity, but you're taking, and you say, I don't dress appropriately, but whose standards of appropriate? And you say, my house is a mess. By whose standards of a messy house?
My mother's. My mother's.
Okay, so mom's standard of a messy house.
Yep.
Is it
Yep.
also mom's voice saying you're too much and too loud and don't dress
Yes,
appropriate?
yep.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
There we go.
Everything. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, you misunderstood. That's my bad. Sorry. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, those comments are all from one person.
All from mom. Got it.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
then at 40, when you started being this way, you knew what your mom's thoughts on you would be as you started being this way, right? When you started being loud at age 40, because you hadn't been loud before. I said, when did you start being loud? You said 40. I said, too loud, too much.
Sorry, no, what? Yeah, no, that was when this comment started to get worse. Sorry. I've always been, if we're introduced, that's her brother. He's the quiet, calm one. She's the loud,
That's
chaotic.
what I was wondering.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry,
so
apologies.
It's okay. So now let's ask the question all over again. What age were you when you were first started being too much and too loud and not dressing appropriately?
Probably when I went to secondary school and just got the greatest group of friends and found some confidence.
Okay,
And it didn't
and
have to
so
be the quiet one that hid.
In your country, what age is the
11,
secondary school?
12,
11 or
into
12.
13, maybe. Yeah.
All right, 11 or 12, maybe 13. So somewhere in there is when you really shifted from being quieter to being louder and too much and so forth. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, if you want to change that in a couple of minutes, feel free, because we just made a big leap from 40 down to 11. So I'm all for
apologies,
changing.
yeah.
No. I could have asked the question better. Don't worry.
And do you know what? Honestly,
Yeah.
when you have childhood things that you don't want to think of and you don't want to give those people your headspace, you kind of forget a lot of stuff.
Okay, and it's interesting. You willfully forget it, but it's interesting. You don't want to give it a lot of headspace. And see, this is why our problems persist, is because we don't want to give them headspace. But that's precisely the stuff we have to go into, because that's where the healing is. The stuff like, I don't want to touch it, but you got to touch it. X marks the spot on the treasure map, the pirate treasure map. The stuff you don't want to touch is exactly where you need to start digging. So back to this. So you're about 11 or 12. You meet some friends, really lovely people, and you developed some confidence, and you started being someone other than what you knew was acceptable. You knew already. You knew by age 11. 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds are smart. They know what is okay and what is not okay. You knew that your mama would not like that behavior of you being more confident, more gregarious, more outspoken, and more, just a bigger personality. You knew that, didn't you?
I don't know.
Really?
I know I'm a big personality, but I'm okay with
Wait
that.
a minute. But no. You know it now. We're not talking about now. We're talking about at a late ages 11, 12, or 13.
Yeah.
You said my personality changed then. I became okay. That means prior to that, you did not. You were not that way. Well, why would somebody be a certain way for 11 years, 12 years, 13 years? Because that's what you were conditioned to be.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And who was the primary person conditioning your behavior? Dad's dead. We know it's not dad.
Yep.
Right. It's mom. So you were conditioned by her standards, her expectations.
Yes.
And you were quiet and you were just being the good girl for that decade plus.
Yes.
And then you meet these friends, you sort of come out of your shell.
Yep.
You start acting differently, which means you had to have known, you knew that would be unacceptable to mom because you had lived in her pattern for 11, 12, 13 years, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And yet you chose it anyway. You chose to be a certain way, knowing that it was pretty much the fucking opposite of what your mom wanted.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Just out of curiosity, you just rubbed your eye. Was that a tear that you were rubbing there?
No, I had a cat hair.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so why would an 11, 12, 13-year-old start engaging in a way of being that she knew she was going to eat shit for from her mom? A mom who had no problems telling her that she wasn't good enough and, her whole life. Why would she, if you knew that you were going to be deviating by acting with this bigger personality and being louder and so forth, why would you choose that if you knew mom was going to give you holy hell for doing it?
I guess I didn't know because I'd always been controlled. Like I say, there's there are parts that are fuzzy, but
you just said you had a cat. You just said you had a cat hair in your eye. Do you have dogs too, or just a cat?
Just a cat.
Okay. Do you train your cat to do anything? Have you ever had to train your cat to do anything?
I have had a cat that will sit on demand, yeah.
Okay, but you had to train it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it didn't do it automatically.
Right, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So then, when you are training your cat, are there times, did your cat pick up the trick that you wanted it to do the very first time? No.
Of course not.
No, of course not. Right. So it failed, or it did something wrong, or it did the trick badly, or the expected behavior, roll over, play dead, whatever it was, go pee-pee in the litter, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pee in the tray.
Right. And it gets scolded, or it gets withheld, or whatever. The point is, it doesn't get the nice, good girl. It gets something.
Bad attention, good attention. I got you.
Right. Bad attention, good attention. So then, isn't it reasonable to assume that when you were being schooled as a child at 1, 2, 3, 4 years old, that you got good attention and bad attention, that you knew goddamn well what was okay behavior and what wasn't okay? Of course. Your cat knows what is okay behavior.
You've just told me what I tell my kids.
Exactly. What do you tell your kids?
What I tell my friends. If my friends' kids are kicking off, they give them all the attention, and I go, "What are you doing? Ignore that." And then come to you with something good, a nice picture, and tell them how fantastic they are. You've just
okay. And so you knew at a very young age, however your mom conveyed it. Now that's a positive way of training kids. Now we know your mom was not so positive in how she trained, because we know that even into your 40s and into your 50s, she's critical. She's happy to say a negative word. So she's not as good as you are at that. Okay, but that's not the point. The point is, back when you were a small child, she was conditioning you. You knew what good was and you knew what bad was. You knew what mom wanted and you knew what mom didn't want. That's how she trained you, just like your cat knows what you want and what you don't want.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if there was no good attention, well,
right.
I wasn't bad, but it wasn't bad. I just wasn't what was wanted, expected.
Well, right. And so you knew at 11, 12, or 13 what was wanted and what was expected.
Yes.
And so when you chose to be loud and to be, quote unquote, too much and to get your own personality, you knew what was wanted and expected, and you knew that what you were doing did not fit in that mold. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. That's not why I did it. I just worked out that F him. I am going to be me. I'm not going to hide in the
No,
background.
no,
I'm
no,
not
no,
gonna-
no, 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 no. Not F him. F her.
That was what I thought when I was younger. Yeah. I understand. Yeah.
And just out of curiosity, why did you change it from her to him? We were talking about your mother. We were talking about her expectations. We were talking about her rules. She's your primary parent. And all of a sudden, you change the pronoun from her to him. You got to admit, that's fucking interesting. What do you think happened right there? Fuck him.
I'm going down the whole she's had it tough route.
But you didn't say F her. So who were you saying F to, if not
To him.
her?
To him.
The stepdad.
Yeah. I'm not going to be quiet anymore. I'm not going to not say anything anymore. But yeah, it's wrong. It's wrong. You're right. I'm wrong. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? You defended her yet again. The very thing I called you out on at the beginning. You're still defending her, or when it was in fact her rules to begin with. Was it her rules or was it his rules of how you should act and not be too much and not be too loud?
Hers, I think. Hers.
Okay.
Because he thought I was bloody amazing, apparently.
Okay. So then, yeah, right? In a sick, fucking, demented way. So then let me ask you this. If you knew it was going to break her expectations, if you knew it was going against the guidelines, if you knew you were going to draw her ire, if you knew she was going to probably say something mean or hurtful or rude, potentially, if you knew all that and you did it anyway, why did you do it anyway?
It didn't make a difference anyway.
What does that
It's all
mean?
control, what other people think. So it doesn't matter whether nothing's ever good enough. Nothing's ever going to be okay.
So you're going to do this. Let me ask you this. And the answer may be 0. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What percent was you choosing to be too much, too loud, and etc.? What percent of it was a fuck you to your mom?
I'd say since I was 40, probably about 90% of it. Back as a young teen, I really don't. I probably have got too much, too loud, too this, too that, more and more and more and more as the years have gone on, because getting to know myself, I guess. And I don't think
But
that's
wait
really
a minute,
answering
that's
your
not the question. If I'm getting to know myself and I'm doing it because myself, then you're not doing it as a fuck you to mom. You're doing it because, hey, this is just who I am.
It is who I am.
But that's not the question. The question is how much of that, of you doing that, is a fuck you to mom. I didn't ask you how much of it is because
How much
it's
of
who
me
you...
being myself is a fuck you term? None of it.
No. How much of you being loud and too much is a fuck you to mom, and how much of it is who you actually are? Because I'm loud. I don't think anybody's going to dispute that I'm loud and too much and overbearing. But I can honestly tell you, parts of it is a fuck you to the institution of counseling. Parts of it is fuck you to, what's expected of Swedish American men. But part of it is who I am. But even though I'm loud and obnoxious and so forth, most of my time is not spent being loud and obnoxious. I'm a very reclusive person, and I spend probably 75% of my time alone and quiet.
Okay, this is so interesting. Yeah. Have I become this person as a
response to what's expected? That's the question. So what
I don't know.
Well, I'm asking you to use that big fucking brain of yours and answer the question, knowing you can change your mind in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so what percent of you being big personality and too much and too loud and not dressing appropriately and all that, what percent of you being too much is fuck you to mom, and how much is just, this is who I am?
You've got me, because I just hadn't. I've done a lot of looking into stuff, and the pennies just dropped, and maybe it's 50-50.
And if you listen to my show, you know I don't ever let anyone answer 50-50.
I haven't been listening to
Get
you for
off
that
the
long.
fucking fence and pick any other two numbers between 100 And they just have to add up to 100. What percent is it because this is who I am? And what percent is this giant fuck you to mom and society and everyone else, but basically mom? What percent is who I am? What percent is a fuck you to mom?
80.
80% is fuck you to mom. And 20% is actually who I am.
You've just answered 58 questions. I think we're done. Thanks for your time. Seriously.
I feel used.
Seriously.
I feel dirty. You used me just for that. Bitch.
It happens, apparently. You should listen to this guy I listen to.
80% of it is a fuck you to mom. Yeah, and what's interesting is when you said on top of that, since 40, it's even increased even more. Since she started burrowing into your children, you hate her even more. And all that, the fuck you is the hate, is a lifetime of hurt. And your response is all that hate. And so you have developed an entire personality around saying fuck you, compensating for all the hurt and all the hatred that you have for your mother. You've developed this entire personality.
I don't hate her. I don't hate her.
Well, oh, that's lovely. I love hearing that. I don't hate. Really? Okay, and that's fine. You what?
I don't care enough.
Yo, you don't care. You just conceded to me. You just admitted that you built an entire personality. 80%
but now, not now. No.
You said, wait a minute. You just said since age 40, my fuck you to her has increased to 90%. So how do you say you don't care? You would not have gone to such an extent to say fuck you.
I didn't even know I was doing it. But now
right, but that's my point. Underneath all of this fuck you is a giant amount of hurt and a giant amount of hatred. Yes. So you just said I don't hate her, and now you're saying yes, it is hatred.
No. But what you're saying is I just said I don't care enough. Turns out I do.
You do.
Turns out I do.
Yes. And the reason. So then you say, I won't go no contact, as she would then control the narrative that I am a terrible person. And what's fascinating about that is you bring up no contact, seeming to imply that a part of you almost wants to, but I'm not going to do that because then she can control the narrative. But it's almost as though you want to, or a part of you thinks about it, or leans towards going no contact. And I don't give a shit if you do or you don't. But a part of you kind of wants to, but I'm not going to do that because if I do that, then she controls the narrative. Just out of curiosity, if your mom did not control the narrative, what percent would you be inclined to break off contact with your mom?
Do you know why I said that? Can I answer this differently and then go back to it? A friend of mine has recently got a very similar relationship, okay, and got no contact. So because the mother can't control that person who's got no contact anymore, what's the mother done? Reached out to her children. She's now fallen out with 2 of her children. Doesn't speak to them anymore. Because the narrative has been controlled that she's this terrible mother because she can't control her anymore.
Just out of curiosity, how old are her children? I'm just curious.
The 2 that she's not talking to now, I think 30 and 26, 27.
Okay. And as a person who has actually lived through that personally,
okay.
Now, my children were very, 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 very young when it happened. So they were much easier to control. I now am extremely close to my children, decades later.
Yep.
And so I've actually lived through that. And the mistake I made is I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't even have to disparage her. And I didn't want to do that because then the child gets caught in the middle. But I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't say what she's saying isn't true. This is actually the truth. I didn't do that, and I should have, because I have every right to stand up for myself. But the bottom,
absolutely.
But okay, now back to my question. If your mom did not control the narrative, if you controlled the narrative, what percent would you want to go no contact with your mom?
80, 90?
Pick one.
Probably 90.
How about that?
The guilt, constantly.
Really? Okay. And so then when you say that if I could, basically I would. I'd go no contact with her. But then I would feel guilt. And put in one sentence or less why you would feel guilt. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just curious why.
Because as a mum, I think it's really sad. I actually think it's extremely sad. And I think that
What's the saddest part about you going?
I think she's missed out. I think she's missed out on so much.
She's missed out, but that doesn't explain why you feel guilt. I can understand why you feel grief that she's missed out on the wonderful person that you are. I can understand why you would feel sadness, but that doesn't explain why you would feel guilt. If she's missed out, it would make sense that she might feel guilt. But what have you done wrong? Guilt implies a crime. What precisely is the crime that you feel guilty about?
I haven't done anything wrong. I've done nothing wrong.
Right, but I want you to help me understand where your guilt is coming from by cutting off your mom.
I think I'm what's known as an empath, and I've only just worked out what that means. Is I feel everyone
Sure, fine.
So,
but then if you felt
so
guilt...
it's a human to a human. That's not nice.
Okay,
not
but
nice.
Indulge me on this one. If you felt like you were doing something wrong, if, what is it that you might feel that you were doing wrong in this case that would cause that guilt?
Not being there for a woman who has been widowed.
Oh, there it is again.
No, I'm being honest.
No,
I know,
that makes sense.
I know.
No, there it is again. It's my job to take care of her. It's my job to defend her. I exist to pour love into mom's love cup, just like you have been motherfucking conditioned to do since you were a fucking child. That your job, I called you on it right away. I've never understood why I have no relationship with my mother. She's not had it easy. Instantly, you go into defending your mother, and here you are yet again. I couldn't, and I'm not saying you should or shouldn't go no contact with your mom. That's not the point. The point is, I don't want to, even as much as I want to, I won't do it. Or I would feel guilty. Part of me would feel guilty doing it because I would feel bad that, she's older and I wouldn't be there to help her and shit like this. And there's nothing wrong with feeling that guilt. But isn't it fascinating that after everything she has done and that you want to walk away, that you feel guilt because you're supposed to be taking care of her, that you're supposed to be kind to her, that you're supposed to be looking after her, that even after, let me ask you this. Let's say you are with a man and this man beat the living fuck out of you. Okay, let's just say...
It's a story for another time, yeah?
All right, story. So then, all right, well, let's draw from personal experience. You're with a man... No, I'm going to do you one better. How old is your oldest daughter?
19.
Let's say your 19-year-old 20-year-old gets into a relationship with a young man and they are living together, and let's say they move and they're living together and randomly they move to Munich, let's just say. And you're obviously British, they move to Munich and they're living in Munich, and then you don't hear about it till about 6 months later, but he's beating her. Okay, he's hitting her a lot. And
they're dragging him out by
I'm sure you are, but she's not leaving. Anyway, the point is, and we'll just say in Germany, you don't have the right to, and so she chooses to stay, she chooses to stay. And then finally, she leaves, and you tell her, and she tells you, Mom, I want to leave him. Or actually, she hasn't left yet, but I want to leave him, but I just feel so guilty leaving him because I feel like I should be there to take care of him. What are your thoughts for your daughter on being there to take care of him?
Fuck him.
Huh. So what do you think I'm thinking about your mother?
Yes, I know. I know.
I mean, it's kind of interesting. Your mother let, for the first 20 years of your life, whatever, much longer than that, a man with his John Thomas dangling around for a little girl, a 3-year-old girl, a 7-year-old girl to have to look at. And her friends would come over, maybe, and she'd be afraid that he'd do it. And Mom did nothing because Mom was more worried about her image. Mom knew it was happening. Mom knew he was a sick fuck. Now, either Mom had no value system whatsoever and didn't know that he was sick and that this is wrong, or she did know why it was wrong and she allowed it. I don't know which is worse. But the bottom line is she fucking knew. She knew that he was a sick fuck, and she let a sick fuck around her daughter, and somehow magically you feel obligated to take care of her. Like your crime is somehow as bad or worse than her, that you still have some obligation to her. And so you worry about her spinning a narrative that you're a terrible person. And the reason you most fear that in one sentence or less is what?
Fear it. I think
It's stopping you from doing something you 90% want to do. So yeah, that's fear. The reason you fear it is what? Above all else, in one sentence or less, the reason you fear her spinning the narrative that you're a terrible person is what?
I'm not a horrible person. And I certainly don't want anyone to think
So
that.
then why don't you tell people you're not a horrible person?
They know I'm not. She doesn't.
Oh, then what the fuck do you care what she says to people?
I don't know. I don't know.
No, you do know, and I want to know what your answer is. Why are you so terrified of her telling people is it truly that you're terrified of her telling people you're a terrible person, or is it you're terrified that you may never have that sunny, glorious day where she says, "I'm sorry"? That this would actually end the relationship, and she's never going to come to you and say, "I was wrong, and how I treated you was wrong, and I'm sorry."
Do you know what it is?
What?
Do you know what it is?
What?
I've waited 52 years to find out about my father. How did he meet my mother? Did he know she was pregnant with me? I don't know.
And the reason you've waited that long, the reason you want to know that, the reason you're still eating her shit.
The million questions I'm never going to get answers to.
Is so you're eating all this shit because you want to know the answers to those questions.
I think there's part of it there that there's so much I don't know. So much I don't know.
But is that the reason you're eating all this shit still?
Probably not.
Then what's the real fucking reason you continue to keep her in your life? Don't give me, I don't know. You have cracked every other nut tonight. This is the last big question I'm asking you. Why is it you continue to eat her shit? What is it you fear? Is it you fear her never opening up and you guys having that kumbaya relationship you've been wanting and getting her acknowledgement of the pain?
I don't want to love you. I don't want to cuddle. I don't
really.
Want
then what is the fear? Why do you keep allowing someone in your life? Because if your daughter chooses to keep that relationship with Gunther, who beats her, if she chooses to keep the relationship with Gunther, who beats her, she can say, "Fuck you, old bitch. You don't cut off your mom. Why should I cut off Gunther? Put your fucking money where your mouth is, Ma. You're full of shit."
Yeah.
So why do you keep this woman in your life? What does it really boil down to?
The thought I've had is what if my kids did that to me? What if my daughters did that to me?
I see. So if they did it to you, then what?
That's acceptable.
Right. Oh, so the fear is if I do it to mom, somehow it's going to cause my kids to do it to me somehow. It's going to put it out.
Would my daughters think that I'm a terrible person if I did that as their mother?
Okay. Let me ask you this. What would your daughters think if they knew that you were allowing someone to treat you poorly?
They know.
And so deep down, what do you think your daughters think of the fact that you allow someone to treat you poorly? That you are modeling for young women that they should eat shit from another woman who, if they knew, you better God's fucking hope they don't hear this podcast to know that their grand stepdad, whatever, let his balls hang out at the fucking kitchen table at dinner time, and you had to sit through that. May they never have to know that. Okay, and that you are allowing this old bitch to stay in their lives and in your life, because I would think they would disrespect you more for not cutting her out if they knew the real story.
They know some stuff. Do you know what it is?
But you are modeling for them weakness, aren't you?
Yes, you're right. Yeah, absolutely.
You okay with
it's
that?
It's also admitting. I think. Do you know what? I've got it.
What?
I think the thing is, it's me admitting. It's me admitting it.
Admitting what? In one sentence or less?
Admitting it out loud to the entire world that he was a fucked up, twisted, vile human. Excuse of.
Yeah, and she let him. And she let him. And that was your mom. And she didn't want to kick him out because she was afraid of what people would think. And you don't want to kick your mom out because you're afraid of what someone will think.
Yeah.
So you're committing the exact same crime, except nobody's walking around with their scrotum hanging out. So you got that going for you. Well, I want to thank you, Sonny, so much for coming on the show. This was fucking exciting.
This took a turn. Do you know the one question I had?
What?
I thought the reason I didn't have a relationship with her is because she was pregnant with me when she lost her husband. I thought that's why we had no relationship.
And so what? She just...
It's nothing to do with that. It's nothing to do with that.
And just out of curiosity, what did you see as the correlation between her losing her husband and you guys not having a relationship? That she just fell apart and had no love to give and so forth?
I'm exactly like him. I'll do something and I'll get the comment of, I don't know where you get it from. Implying I must get it from my father.
Right.
Yeah. To back up, I've just got it. To back up my vile, evil, disgusting, despicable stepfather. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We've got to almost say how much I'm like him without actually telling me anything, how much I look like him. I'm a walking, talking, permanent reminder because we've got to put the other one on a pedestal, haven't we?
Right.
Because we know something wasn't right. You just, yeah.
That's it.
It's nothing to do with that.
How about that?
You're a genius.
You answered all the questions. I just asked the questions.
I didn't know the answers.
Well, you just kind of needed your feet put to the fire. That too much, too loud personality.
I didn't see it. Couldn't see it.
I know. And in part, you're like, you didn't want to see it.
Horrible. Yeah, I'm
you
so
even
much
said
like.
the stuff I don't want to think about, the stuff I don't want to touch. And once we start touching it and saying I'm not afraid of it anymore, and once we start going in with that big fucking brain of yours, we start actually looking at it, that's when we start having the insights and the enlightenment. It's like, and then life starts getting lighter. And we just start getting understanding better. My final question, I guess, is what are you feeling right now? Give me a feeling word, just out of curiosity.
I actually feel relieved because I thought it was that for me to be born, my father had to go. One dies.
Oh, no. That's just fucking
dumb.
Yeah,
but as a kid.
I get it. No, as a kid. And isn't it fascinating
kid,
that at 52 years old...
It's nothing to do with that.
I understand. No, it has nothing to do with that. And
he's on his pedestal, which means my father can't be.
That's right. She had to build him up. That's right.
She's had to build him up.
Right. She had to keep him because what would people think of her? So all of this was constructed. All of the bullshit lies that you were forced to believe were constructed to protect her from what people would think of her if he left her. All the bullshit lies
when you go off with a married man from the same estate as you and your parents disown you, you got to kind of stay with him and save a bit of face, right?
Well, even if it means your children basically putting up with a fucking pedophile, fucking sick fuck, and
not in my lifetime, not in my house.
Well,
7 years ago, I did a runner with my kids, domestic abuse.
Okay,
not their father.
That's good. Now, but you're still exhibiting weakness to your daughters by
weakness.
You are allowing a person to run down their mother, and so you're teaching them that it is okay to run down their mother.
They know it's not okay,
and yet you're allowing someone to do that.
I've made it acceptable.
Right, precisely. So then you got to wonder at what point good old Sonny changes. And we hope she changes soon.
Thank you so much.
We love you, Sonny. You were a real spark plug and you were fun. And it'll be interesting to see what your personality becomes when it's no longer 80% to fuck you to your mom. That'll be really interesting.
Well, the bit people see or the bit people don't see. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on the show on behalf of everyone. You've been why this show is entertaining, Sonny. Love you to death. Love you to death.
Thank you so much, guys.
You bet. Rob, any final thoughts?
Good energy, Sven. Very good energy on your part.
Oh,
and a stoic English woman. Who would have guessed? But what hey, it's great. And what an incredible revelation. It was, as in the words of one of the people watching us record this, this is some serious shit, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
We're touching lives.
Life. Yeah. It's life.
Oh, it's live.
Thank you so much for everything.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for coming on. It was awesome. I love you, Sonny. And go to bed. It's like fucking 4, 8:30, 17 in the morning.
I've had epiphanies. How am I going to sleep now?
That's right. Journal. Get out your journal and journal it out, all right?
You know the email I sent you? That's the first journal I ever did. And I felt better after I'd done it.
Good girl.
You're a genius.
Keep up the good work.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Take care. Good
and,
to talk to you.
And on behalf of my team, to all of you around the world listening in, thanks to Sonny, and thanks to all of you for listening. Have a kick-ass day.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by 2-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.